Welcome back, this is MDawg, and here we are with another spot challenge. And if this spot looks familiar, it's because it is. I just couldn't resist. It's another interesting 41 meter Norwegian Sea spot challenge. Someone on VK is saying 970 silver in 1 hour. That is without cafe, and that was fishing here at the 41 meter hole. So let's go ahead and get started fishing so we can start our hour. We're starting at almost 1 a.m. so we'll need to stop at almost 1 a.m. I suppose. What is interesting is this is not that unlike the setup I used yesterday on stream, if you were here with me. So we're using the Fish Hunter 300. I like using these slightly bigger lures on these really active spots. 6.0 hook, fluorocarbon bead, 1602 natural squid with a fillet strip of the safe variety. So in these, and I'll show you the drop shots in a second here. In these challenge videos, what we're looking to do is test out someone's claim on VK that they were able to make 970 silver in an hour. It is possible this could be a little slower overnight, although I would not expect it to be very slow. And for what it's worth, it's MDawg, I believe is how you say it, is the person who posted this on VK. And the point of these videos is not to prove that someone is lying. It is to recognize that there is a lot of RNG, a lot of randomness in Russian Fishing 4. And just because one person spent an hour at a spot and had 970 silver doesn't mean that we will be able to duplicate it, although sometimes you can. And that's the fun of these videos. All right, first fish in is a cusk. We'll take that. And to hit 970 silver, we are going to have a pretty good bite rate and catch at least a few above average fish. So you see we're using 3 hooks all the way down the drop shot. Handmade foam rubber fish 02, 03, and then the salty fish 08 makes up our setup. And we will try to stick to this setup for the full hour unless there's just something that seems to me is an obvious change that we need to make. But it kind of throws off the whole test if we don't use the exact setup that the person is claiming they use to make however much silver they are making. So, and these kind of posts are really nice because it was done in an hour, and I typically do these spot checks for 1 hour. So this gives me the exact time. Very easy comparison to make. Now, are there some differences? Yes. Like one thing I can't see is what reel was he using? Because I can tell you right now, it's a nice little safe. I can tell you right now, if I threw on, let's say maybe a Vinga, that is going to speed us up a little bit because it's just going to reel a little faster. And yet I'm going to stick with the reel we have on here and see how this goes. We're currently using the Cardinal, by the way. And do notice that because there are cod here, and some cod get to be a little bit big, I do have it a little bit higher than 60 kilo line. We're doing the 77-82 line just to get a little bit more strength potential. You certainly could do this, obviously, with 60 kilo line, but the big cod are pretty annoying at that point, and so I thought we would try it with just a slight bit more strength. let's hope we keep doing pretty good here in the overnight, but there's certainly no way we're getting to 970 without like a really sick trophy or something if the bite rate doesn't pick up just a little bit once it hits daytime. Look how pretty the sunset is, by the way. I don't know what I was thinking choosing to do a spot check video for the first video of the day today. It's a little intense. I was thinking like, okay, let's get started with just a nice chill RF4 video, drink my cup of coffee. Well, here we are doing spot check, which dials up the intensity just a little bit. Thank you for the support of being here watching this video. I hope you are enjoying this content. If you are just here for RF4, I understand, but I am making an effort to add a little bit of variety to the content on this channel, both in terms of at least occasionally checking in on other fishing games, as well as the second category is trying to play some games that sort of are digital re-implementations or similar to games that are in the board game space. There's a longhead dab. That's a nice fish to catch out here. So board games, card games that have digital implementations or feel like they could have been card games, board games. That's a second category. And then a third category I would say I've been focused on as I'm thinking about what I want to do with adding a little variety to the channel is more like story experiences. And this is probably the one that's, well, actually category 2 and 3, I would say. I just know from experience, it's not necessarily going to draw in the crowd or views, but they are very enjoyable for me to put together. So, to experience. I like talking about board games for category 2. And for category 3, I just really enjoy narratives, stories, and I find it really fun to like start a new series where we have some sort of like story to sit back and enjoy. So we'll see where that takes me. The whole reason why I've been thinking through all this, or part of the reason, is because I have a few days of like not completely off from work, but less work. Don't want to see the 484 gram haddock, by the way. So a little more time over spring break, and yeah, just time to sort of think about, if we have a little more time, what might we want to do with a little more time. And before I know it, summer will be here again as well, which summer is busy in terms of trips, but there's a solid 2.5 months where I have more time then as well. So some opportunities. Definitely want to stream a little bit more and also focus on some of the content. Okay, so on March 5th, I'm getting a message here in chat. The server will be started. Approximate duration of the work is 2 hours. That has been a pretty common thing here lately. I do appreciate the heads up for sure. But yeah, it is a lot. It is a lot of server downtime. Perfect timing. Well, this hopefully is a mackerel. I didn't think about, yeah, because of the handmade foam rubber fish, maybe even the Hunter 300, but especially the handmade foam fish, we could catch some mackerel. It's a nice mackerel, as long as they're decent sized mackerels, and you know, we're getting them in so quick because they're often pretty early in the drop. Then you don't mind seeing mackerel. So far, we're doing okay. 7 minutes in. We are behind schedule, just in terms of average, I would guess. But we also have been fishing overnight, there is the possibility that things could get a little bit better, a little bit more exciting as we move into daytime. All right, a little bit bigger fish maybe. Yeah, it's not bad. Could be, oh, there we go. Could just be like a cusk. It's kind of what it feels like. Just very slow and steady, but we'll see. It's really only because of the cod that I chose to use this setup, or normally I would have just used 60 kilo and gone, or 45 even, and gone with the Regal, but the top two fish that the person caught that, you know, that brought me to this challenge were 20 plus kilo cod. So I don't know that we'll run into those, but he at least did. Pollock. That is what I would really enjoy, is if the amount of pollock is healthy. So the pollock came in on the 03. The 03, the 02, the Hunter 300. So not a lot on the salty yet. 03, 02. There's the salty. Salty caught one saithe. And that's it. It's 5:42. For some reason, we're struggling to get a bite right now. Also struggling to find the bottom. I don't think we're at the bottom again. Is there a strong current? What's going on here? I mean, okay, it's sitting at the bottom right now. All right, there we go. Man, that was awkward. Whoa. All right, I'm gonna lock it up. At least till we get a little bit of movement here. Interesting. All right, there it goes. Was I right on the one that was like this? Was it a cusk? Last time? I think I was. I think I remember it now. It was that bigger cusk. This was a hard fish to hook into, and now it's a slow fish bringing it up. Oh, turbot. Okay. That's pretty cool. We'll take the turbot. This rain. Ooh, quick one. Probably a mackerel. Hopefully it's healthy. Healthy mackerel. Oh, it's a little pollock. Baby pollock. Still a marker, but just barely. So we are coming in at the 15-minute mark here shortly. That turbot will help. The dab might help a little bit. And then the cusk and saithe and mackerel, I mean, that's just all consistently adding to it a little bit. But I don't know. I'm not feeling 970 right now, but there's still a lot of time left, so that can change. Oh, there's a nice pollock. Yeah, more like that. More 4 kilo plus. And it's going to be better and better. We hope this is the right fish with how small it is. Ugh, not haddock. All right, so it's past 7 a.m. It does seem like as it's gotten into morning here, things have gotten a little bit more interesting, but we need to keep going. Saithe. Nice one, though. Nice saithe. Almost 10 kilos. 9.5 kilos on that saithe. I like this on the drop. So this is increasing our bite rate. As long as the fish are decent, then, you know, a few pollock mixed in with some saithe and mackerel or whatever, then this is not a bad development here to increase the amount of fish we're catching per minute. There's another saithe, almost 5 kilo. Somebody just caught a really large haddock, by the way. On the drop again. Almost 10 kilos again. These saithe are healthy right now. Let's see. That was on the salty fish as well. On the drop. Salty on the drop. Yeah, both the big saithe hit the salty. And the 4 pollock hit the O2 handmade foam. Oh man. This is what was happening during the stream yesterday, although they were averaging a little smaller than this. Right now we're catching some healthy sized saithe. But the frequency of saithe yesterday, I just was struck like, man, it's been a while since I've seen saithe this infested in the waters, which is not a bad thing. If you need bait, or honestly, saithe add up just like any fish in the Norwegian Sea. All of it's just worth a lot of silver. And you're often getting cafe orders done as well when you catch saithe, which is fun and lucrative. Get up to 15 meters and fish start thinking about it. Maybe I don't want to go up here. It's a mid-morning cusk. Okay. I just think right now, one thing that's kind of fun is that the average fish size is just up a little bit right now. Now this might be a cod. Okay, I'm okay. Doing all right. Just not moving it unless we go down to the lower gear. And if we didn't have it locked up, we really wouldn't be moving it. It'd be running. I knew that was going to be a cod. Yeah, 21 kilo. That is an easy 59, 60 silver, something like that. And we got it during happy hour, so some decent XP there. All right. Oh, it's so cool. Since the last content update, when they added a few new species, I feel like lumpfish is the one that if you spend a session fishing, even at 41, 34, whatever, like that's the one that you might just get one lumpfish. It's kind of like that random, somewhat rare fish that you catch consistently enough to see one pretty frequently, but usually not more than one or two in a session, at least for me. As soon as I cast it again, I'll check, see which lure that lumpfish even decided to go for. I bet one of the handmaids, but we'll see. I think during the daytime, well, first of all, it's gotten sunny now. We'll see if that changes anything as we move into the later part of into the afternoon. But once we hit like true daytime, like later morning, mid-morning to later morning, I think overall it's gotten better. We've just had consistent, we went on that Saith run, decent pollock Saith run, the 21.6 cod, and then foam rubberfish 002 just caught us that lumpfish. But the amount of fish per like minute or two has definitely increased since the sun came up. We're getting these fish on the drop, which starts to make you wonder, okay, how much are we going to make? 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 10. So you see there's some minutes in there where we're doubling up on the fish, even tripling up once or twice. So that helps when you start looking at an average. I just got to be paying attention so that when we catch them on the drop, we're bringing them in pretty quickly. As a bonus, I will say the one other piece of content that I'm thinking about incorporating into my channel is just sort of a conversational video looking at different crowdfunding board game projects. And again, this is just like coming out of my interest in board games. I've been playing a lot more board games again recently. I've actually found, just a lot of opportunities to work in board games into sort of my day-to-day life with family and friends, and even playing some solo. And so it's just on my mind more, and I've always been fascinated. I shouldn't say always. Let's see. My son and I started looking at Kickstarter in particular probably about 2.5 years ago now. 2 to 2.5 years, though, I would guess. And the whole crowdfunding board game thing has just always been interesting to me. So I've been playing with the idea of maybe once a month putting out a just sort of, again, conversational video where I sort of look at 2 or 3 of my most interested in projects and just kind of talk through. I used to, and I don't necessarily do this as much now, although some months I do, but I used to average trying to, back one board game a month. And so I was kind of always making that decision, like, which game am I going to back this month, kind of thing. So sort of a conversation around, if that were the case, if you were going to back one a month, what's the decision points for some of the current projects. So we'll see. All right. Let's make sure we're in an okay place on the map. We are pollock, saithe, cusk, last 3 fish. We're right at the halfway point. This video has been going 31 minutes, but it took us about 2 minutes to get fishing from the time I started it. So yeah, we're coming up on 30 minutes here shortly. Another nice saithe. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30 fish. Not all of them were keepers. I think there was at least 2. One, maybe just one, because I think I turned the other saithe into bait. So all of them markers except for one. But some of them very small markers that will not really show up in terms of being worth much. And I've checked a lot of the fish to see what they were caught on. Here at the halfway mark, I would say it's pretty spread out. Some of our best fish have been on the salty. Ooh, there's a nice whiting. Look at that X piece. We're still in happy hour. And that was on foam rubber fish 02. That is what is the superstar, right? If you had to pick one, I think you would say the 02. But the salty has done really well. I'll be curious to see maybe once we get to the end of the hour, or I'll try to notice as we're going here as we go for the rest of this time. But be curious to see if the 03 has any like really good fish that it's caught. Because it could be worth putting 2 02s on there. I just feel like that foam rubber fish 02 is performing well. The red one. So one thing I haven't figured out, I don't know why haven't embraced this yet. The whole idea of making YouTube videos while at the same time streaming. In other words, I always separate the two. Now, sometimes I will upload a replay of the stream onto YouTube. But usually, 99% of the time, 95% of the time, content that goes on YouTube was not streamed. There's nothing that would keep me from right now having the stream going and just allowing all of you to be here while I'm working on YouTube content. I think in some ways it would actually make the YouTube content more interesting, because in real time, some of you would be commenting and saying, well, what about this or that? But somehow over the years, because I've been doing this now for years actually, over the years, I have just kind of had stream mode, which I guess is typically pretty relaxed, chill, hanging out with people. Now, I don't typically like feel as much pressure to talk. And then YouTube mode, where I know that I'm only going to be recording for the next, hour, sometimes less, sometimes a little more. And so I'm a little bit more dialed in to trying to talk, because, if somebody's coming to the channel to watch this video, then they probably, at least most people probably want to hear running dialogue of some sort, at least a little more frequent, where a stream just feels really chill. So in my mind, at least, somehow they're kind of like two different things. But because the stream process can be chill, I could have the stream going and then be like, okay, guys, let's, and Mark kind of see what time it is and mark the time and be like, okay, we're going to spend the next hour doing this, and this is going to be a dedicated YouTube video, but I'm going to make it live right here with everyone, because let's face it, I don't edit. Period. I just don't edit. I wish I did edit. I used to edit. If you go back far enough into my YouTube catalog, back old videos on my YouTube channel, this is way before RF4, there is some editing. I don't even remember what program I used. At some point, I think when I was playing Lord of the Rings Online, I got into streaming way more heavily than videos on YouTube. And this has kind of gone back and forth over time. I would say I've been pretty balanced between streaming and video and YouTube more recently, but so I was leaning much heavier into streaming, and there's even like months where I don't post any videos back in that time period on YouTube. But it's been so long now, like I don't remember what software I used to edit. And I know that like it would be as simple as doing a Google search for free editing software for making YouTube videos, it's like, and then there'd be a million videos showing me how to use the editing software. So it's probably not as overwhelming or hard as I imagine it to be, but I guess I've always seen it as like part of, not that it's unique at all necessarily, but part of what people get if they decide they want to join me on some of these videos, is they just sort of get me off the cuff, hopefully fairly chill, relaxed, and real person doing something that both of us enjoy, and hopefully like starting conversations about things within Russian Fishing 4, for example, maybe in some little way encouraging community. So I don't know. I've always, not always, since Lotro and then eventually into RF4 days, that's kind of been the focus. And so it's not seemed like editing was something that kind of fit with that as much. So anyway, since I don't edit, long story short, we could just like go live and then start working on YouTube videos. I wouldn't even have to stick with the same game. But again, I wonder about that. And this, I guess I'm rambling here, but I would love to hear feedback. Some of you who actually are still listening to me ramble at the 41-minute mark of this video. What do you think? What's your opinion? I mean, I value y'all's input on this kind of stuff especially. Right now, though I don't get to stream that often, not as often as I would like, but if I do stream, people that come to the channel can count on I'm going to be playing the game that I say I'm playing. As long as the servers are up, I'm going to be playing that game, and 99% of the time it's RF4. I almost exclusively stream RF4. I can't even remember the last time I streamed something else. That was the O2, by the way. That was our superstar catching the 338 gram hake. So that would be a change. And that could, this is my fear, this is my worry, that could do the opposite of what I want. So what I want is for people in the RF4 community to know that if I go live, they can count on, they know what that stream's going to be like. It's going to be somewhere between 2 and 5 hours. It's going to be just fishing in RF4 and talking about RF4 and trying to come up with good strategies and fun techniques to spend our time playing this lifestyle game that we all enjoy. I don't know if I want people coming to my stream and then having to figure out, okay, is today a chill, we're playing RF4 day? Or is today a day where we might bounce between different games to create content for MDawg's YouTube channel? Even as I say that all out loud, I'm like, yeah, I don't want that. But I think the reason why I say I don't want that is because I assume that a lot of you all wouldn't want that. That could have a negative impact on our little community, our little slice of the RF4 community that I value. So as I thank you for letting me verbally process through this today on this episode, and I think as I have verbally processed it, I have reached a point where, though I still want to hear your feedback, your thoughts, I think there's some like reasonable good thinking behind keeping it a little separate, the stream versus when I sit down to work on something for YouTube. Now, if I wanted to, I could, let's say I get into, one of the things that I'm wanting to start is a limited series of me playing through Gloomhaven. It's a digital representation of a really famous, well-done board game. RPG, but Euro-style mechanisms. And if I wanted to stream that so that people could actually be a part of that instead of just creating the YouTube video and then people leaving comments, I could. But the difference is I would be playing Gloomhaven from the start to the end of that stream, not jumping around playing lots of different things, kind of confusing the people who are coming. Because another thing that I've always been sensitive to, and back in the day when I used to be even think of myself as a variety streamer, but when I played Lotro, and then there was some other, I played Hearthstone for a while, streamed it some, a lot of YouTube videos. Anyway, I saw myself more as a variety, where now I would say, if I'm streaming, I'm probably playing RF4. But even back then, I was very conscientious of, I had built up this community of people that would support me when I was playing Lotro. Well, I didn't ever want to start playing Lotro to get my community to come in and then switch to another game. And then those people feel like, okay, do I want to support MDawg? And go watch this other game that I'm not interested in? Or do I kind of in this awkward position where I'm like, well, I'm free, but I'm not really interested in the game you're playing now, so I'm going to go find someone else that's playing Lotro. I don't know. I just didn't want to do that. I like the clean sort of, if you start a stream playing something that you're known for playing and people come in, then end your stream playing that. I don't know. That might be overly thinking about it, like a little too strict in my thinking about that, but I just wanted to be sensitive to that, so that's why I did it that way. All right, man, I've been just rambling. We're coming in to our 75% done, and we're gonna be finding out the results here soon. Did we even get close to 970? And I will open up our KeepNet again and sort of let you take a look at it. And although I can't hear your guess, I want to give you the opportunity to guess. I love the pollock. I do wish there was a few more pollock, but I do love the pollock. Okay, so here is the KeepNet. We can sort by weight maybe. So there's whatever, 60 silver or whatever. Good whiting. Dab. I mean, I don't know. A few pollock, a lot of saithe, decent amount of cusk. 43 fish, 42 of them are markers. We've got 15 minutes to go. I'd say we're on pace. To me, this feels like 500 silver pace. This does not, to me, feel like anywhere near 970, but we'll see. We could get another cod, and that would be huge. If it's a decent sized cod, we could get a random trophy or something. I mean, you never know, but I mean, we are at 46 minutes, 44 fish, 43 of them markers. We are right at a fish a minute on average. That's good. And a lot of the fish have been a little bigger. It's not like the fish a minute average where you're full of mackerel and blue whiting and stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with that. You can make a killing off of that. I'm just saying this is a little different than that. So we'll see. I like this approach though, where you can use a little bit bigger lure if you want to. Ooh, our first spiny. Man, that would have been a cool difference, is if we'd caught maybe 2 or 3 spiny and maybe one of them was 5 kilos. I mean, you know, like that would help for sure. But the fact that you can use a little bit bigger lure and just slight, but still on these hot spots, 41, 34, but lean into maybe a little bit higher average weight fish, but still take advantage of the really nice bite rate. It is fun. Hey, this has some bounce to it. Which means, you know, yeah, certainly could be safe, cod, pollock, haddock. But when it's got that much bounce, it also makes you wonder, ooh, could this be a shark? Could this be a spiny, a little bit bigger spiny? I don't know that it has, I don't know. We'll see. But that's what it makes me think. Biggest safe of the day, I think. In fact, other than that cod, biggest fish of the day? Yeah. And that was on the O2. The salty and the O2 have definitely stood out as, I think, catching the best fish, if you had to pick. Oh, we're getting close. Remember, it's 1 a.m. was about when we started. Yeah, we've got right at 10 minutes left. All right, there's a safe. Can we keep up this this average right up till 1 a.m. and, you know, end up with right around 56, 57 marker fish? Yep, that's a 4.9 safe. Very nice. Almost 5 kilo. Ooh, I love it. Biggest pollock of the day, 7.5. If there had just been a few more of those, I might be a little more confident that we could make a run at this silver amount, but I just don't see it. Let's see. They had, I'm just looking at his fish net. He didn't show his whole fish net, so I can't really say, but he had a 2.5 kilo spiny that was worth 50 silver. He had 2 cods over 50 silver, a turbot almost 50 silver, a really big cusk that was almost 50 silver, and then several pollocks that are 2 pollocks that were 40 silver, cusk 35, cod 35. So just, I think, a few more fish there at the top that I don't know that we have. We're not really going fish by fish with Mega Teaver. So we'll see how it plays out. So somebody in chat, Outlaw, saying so many sculpin at 41, and we haven't seen that, but that probably has to do with the size lures we're using. Okay, there's another cod, but it's too small. 6.5 cod's not going to do much for us. It's probably a less than 10 silverfish. Way less, maybe? I don't know. We'll see. So we just got to watch the clock. 1 a.m. we got to stop. And we'll be checking it close to 1 a.m. because it might be right before 1 a.m. we need to stop, somewhere right around there. We don't want to go over the hour. So we're at 52 fish. Ooh, good. Pollock again. 52 fish, 55 minutes. 53 fish, 55 minutes. We've really kept up that average pretty well. We started a little slow, starting the video at 1 a.m., but once we got through the night, we found a pretty reliable, consistent average, and it's not slowed down the whole time. So here's the question. How many fish can we get in this last hour? Can we get 2? Is 3 too much to ask for? Probably. Can we get 1 might be the question. Wow. And you can see the difference in nighttime. And by the way, if we weren't doing a video like this, this is where I think once it hits midnight till about maybe 4 or 5 a.m., just have another setup ready to go. Just throw a jigging setup in there. Do jigging with all handmade, or if you want to throw a couple salties or whatever, that's going to be a better bite rate at night, at least in my experience. This might be our last fish. See if we can. This is going to be what, a cusk? It's after midnight. I don't know. It's a decent size. This might be a cod. But it didn't have that cod feel to it, at least initially. But now it kind of does. Now it's given a little bit more movement. This is taking too long. I think this is our last fish. I believe this is it, but I'll make sure. 57 minutes. We might can get away with 1 more. But not if we don't get it on the drop or really quick. All right, let's see what this is. Oh, it's a cusk. That's probably good news. I don't think it's big enough to, would have been big enough to be like a really good cod. So this size cusk is probably good. 14 kilo. Let's see if we can get 1 more fairly quick fish here, as we are right at 58 minutes. Coming up on 1 a.m. So this would have to be like hook into it pretty quickly. The drop would be perfect, but this time of night we're less likely to hit it on the drop. Yeah, that was a big cusk. That's actually bigger than his biggest cusk. That cusk might be a 50 silver fish. So that's the one advantage that I can see that we have. Our turbot might be slightly bigger than his turbot. And our cusk, our biggest cusk, is a little bigger than his cusk. But he's got a lot of advantages too, so. All right, we got to wrap it. We got to get a bite or just pull it out. Oh, there we go. Good. Ooh. I think we just need to get it off the bottom and then we'll be fine. We just don't have energy is the main thing. Okay, so 1 hour of fishing. How did we do? I'm going to, it's going to be another cusk, isn't it? I'm going to fast travel to Mosquito and then fast travel back to Norway. As always, you do not want to do that unless you have the house at Norway unlocked, or fast travel in general at Norway unlocked to be free. It's too expensive to travel here to do it just for convenience. You just want to relog or travel in the boat back to the shore, back to the dock. But because I do have those things, there's another cod. Because I do have the house at Norway, then it is free to travel to Norway. And because the game loads so fast these days, it is just as quick to do that as it would be to relog, or certainly faster than traveling back in the boat. All right, let's see how we did. 1 hour of fishing, and I will check the cafe, but first let's just check it out. So here's your answer. 888. Wow, we came really close. Remember, 970 was the goal. So let's look by price here and see what happened. So that pollock, man, don't sleep on the pollock. If you can get those bigger size pollock. And then we knew the cod would be 60. The turbot was 60. So yeah, we had a 15 advantage turbot on the person whose spot we were using, or spot result we were using. Whiting are worth so much when they're up over 1.5 kilos. There's our big cusk. I was thinking it might be 50. Yeah, so it is right at 50. And then all these pollocks, 4 in a row, cod, and you see, so the cusk at 6 kilo is still 20 silver. That adds up. But once you get lower than that, you can see, at least for Norway, they start going down. Where's our dab? Oh, here it is. 20 silver. That's in the 20 silver range. Kind of that second tier of fish value for us. But that's pretty cool. I mean, we will take 888 for an hour. That is a beautiful hour at Norway. We do not, believe it or not, have that order, which is a bummer. If you are catching a bunch of sculpin, then you might be able to complete that order. Those two orders, very possible. We actually might have hit it easier if we weren't using the larger stuff. But regardless, we'll take 888 and another successful hour spent at Norway. And as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for letting me ramble. Would love to hear your feedback. But most of all, hope you're doing well. Tight lines, and I will see you next time.